It's Monday. That means it's Setup Monday. Let's talk charts here for Brave New Coin. Going to start with ETH and BTC, talk about some DeFi stuff at the end, which surprisingly still looks pretty good, which is why I haven't really adjusted the DeFi portfolio on Enzyme just yet, even though I'm extremely risk off on the ETH BTC portfolio. Technicals for ETH and BTC look grim. Certainly BTC more so, but that hasn't changed much over the past month. BTC has been weaker and softer than ETH, than pretty much anything. And at the moment, it feels like it's just endless walls of selling. Just people finding Bitcoin under their couch cushions and just throwing it at the exchange on market orders. But if we start with ETH here on the trend metrics on the daily, we'll start with the alligator, which is just three MAs. It's the 5, 8, and 13. And if these are crossed green, red, blue, they're bullish. So trend-wise, ETH is still bullish. We did trigger a stop loss on the fractals though. So the fractals are printing on a low, high, low, or a high, low, high. So basically, if we're breaking lows during a bull trend, that's telling you, be careful, we're probably ending the trend soon. And you can see how that looks here. You can't see it, but there was a bear fractal here, 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 here. This is just acting as a trailing stop loss. We get to here, and that says time to get out. And it doesn't mean it's the top of the top. It just means for this low time frame, low time preference, whatever time horizon trade, it says now is a good time to jump out. Things have changed. It's no surprise there. I think everybody can feel that on ETH, but this is a way to quantify something like that. So in this April trend, you can see we never broke these fractals until now on the daily. Something else we didn't break is this median line in the alligator, which can also act as a trailing stop loss. So that's telling you to get out as well. And this isn't going to bounce to infinity without letting you know first. You know, there was plenty of opportunities to get in April when this on the daily looked ready for more up. And anytime it breaks above the bull fractals, it tells you to add to your longs or go long, that sort of thing. So go long, stop loss, stop loss, stop loss, stop loss got hit. And now we're just out on ETH for the most part based on that technical indicator. If we look at the cloud and the 200-day moving average, ETH's been above the 200-day moving average since May 2020. The 200-day moving average is currently at 19K or 1900, let's say. So that's one caution here of buying anything on ETH, is that it can continue to mean revert back to that 200-day moving average. Alternatively, if you are looking at the cloud and you're looking at what's happened since October, we crossed on the TK cross in October. We haven't crossed bearish yet on that TK cross. So there's a decent argument to be made to continue to buy these Kijun tests. And we've had 4 of them so far since October on the daily. So it's not unreasonable to buy at that level. And it's probably most comparative to the January dip. Ideally, what you want to see is a wick tap and a reversal. This is not ideal, but acceptable, right? It's still held above the Kijun. Arguably, it got below here, but inevitably bounced. The issue with buying the Kijun on all these is always, where's your stop, right? In this case, your stop loss is the cloud. Same with here, your stop loss is the cloud. So the percentage drop here to some will not be encouraging. So this could get quite messy on the daily. Now, if we look on the 4-hour, and we're going to look at the daily BTC cloud in a second, the 4-hour ETH cloud told you to get out maybe 2 days ago as far as the TK cross recross situation. And very quickly, it hit that edge to edge move. So we're either bullish above the cloud or bearish below the cloud. And then there's this transition phase in the cloud where there's an opportunity for a trade to be made on that reversal. So this opportunity has passed at this point. I get a lot of people asking me, do you trade this edge, the bottom edge to the top edge at this point, and then the top edge to the bottom edge? I never do. I trust one edge to edge with high conviction. Past that, it is called a no trade zone for a reason. It just gets infinitely choppy, and look no further than April, where it was inside the cloud. It couldn't really make up its mind. And once it did, on top of that, we had a chart pattern, we had a W, and away it went, right? So again, don't feel nervous if you're out and sitting on the sidelines like me, because the market will tell you, right? This isn't going to reverse and bounce to 10K without you. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Be patient. It doesn't look capitulatory enough as much as this has sold off. You shouldn't need to ask anybody, should I buy here? You should know, because there's a massive wick or just volume exploded. All the exchanges go down, something like that. There just has to be blood and mayhem in the streets in order for me to be convinced that, okay, let's actually take a stab here. If the TA is not on my side, if I'm just blindly buying based on market sentiment and fear, then that's what I'm looking for. This is bad, don't get me wrong, but it definitely needs to get worse before I start to jump into this. And as far as shorts are concerned, much like April, a short was never really warranted here, even though it was, pulled back a bunch. It was a mess. And so until we're below the cloud, there's really no short trade for me. And the cloud has to flip bearish. The TK cross has to stay bearish, blah, blah, blah. So we're a long ways out from even that. So if anything, it's just telling you, take it easy, take a breather. If you made money on the way up, great, save it, right? That's what this is trying to tell you. And on the ETH weekly, the Kijun is at 2200. Not a ton of chart history on the weekly for Coinbase, but historically that has been another good bounce point. If we're going to bounce, it's going to be that level. I mean, if we break that level, for me, it's game over for ETH. 2950 or slightly lower on the MA multiplier. You can see we never quite reached the top. This is going to keep going up slowly over time, and the two previous all-time highs basically exceeded it for at least a day, and we've yet to close above that. Certainly possible that the market's different, it's different this time, etc., etc., etc. But I'd expect to see some, as insanely parabolic as this was, I expect to see some blow off in that zone. But if we do find support, it's probably going to be near that 2950 level. And here's another piece of evidence for 2350, 2200, something like that, based on the 20-week SMA, which has been extremely strong at predicting continuation by the dip mode, that sort of thing, historically on ETH, on BTC, on most everything that has enough chart data to see that. When we are trending very clearly bullish, breakdown, we go bearish, we retest it, we do not break that MA. The market doesn't know it's there, but for some reason we don't break it. And then we break it here along with this ascending triangle. Gets extremely messy in March, as does everything that breaks down trend metrics on high time frames. But then during the recovery, we bounced on it a few times. So currently it's down here at 2300. So, I mean, we could go all the way down there and still be okay as far as ETH is concerned. ETH-BTC, to me, the trade is done. It either needs some bullish consolidation up here or a pullback down to this 05 level. You can see the pitchfork is telling you be careful up here. Yearly pivots are telling you be careful up here. VPVR has a decent amount of volume activity, but most of it is below 0.06, at least on Poloniex. So for me, I'm not a buyer of this until it's mean reverted, basically. I mean, it's had like 9 weeks of up. I think it's okay if it retraces a bit here. Flipping gears to BTC, starting with the pitchfork since 2019, it was getting a little overbought, but it wasn't cruising above dangerously overheated conditions historically based on what BTC is able to do. And as far as a buy is concerned, the pitchfork median line is at 32. That's a decent level. If I'm going to take a stab at something or put bid somewhere, it's going to be there, because historically, again, if we have a rate of change, price likes to return to that rate of change like a magnet. Now this can go all the way to the bottom and we can actually still be okay. But if I'm going to buy a retrace, it's going to be that median line. Here's the daily cloud in the 200-day EMA, and we are wicking into that 200-day EMA currently. Here was your long entry down here. This is your long exit up here. This is the bearish TK cross, bullish TK cross. And here's that edge to edge move. I mentioned it with ETH as well. So for me, there's no trade setups here right now. You know, it's going to take probably 2 weeks, probably to the end of May, in order to see exactly what's going on here. Because just like in September, October, this can just, you know, get crushed in Chop City between 47 and 54, something like that. Just ranging until a decision is made. And just like September, October, this isn't going to reverse without plenty of signs and opportunities, right? Like you'll know when we're above the cloud. You'll know when we're below the cloud. You'll know when we have a bearish cloud, bearish TK cross below the 200-day moving average, when the short opportunity comes back. This was the looming short that played out. And at this point, it's just no trade zone neutral, even as bearish as this looks. If we look at the 20-week SMA, we're definitely in trouble because in 2017, despite all those pullbacks, we had 5 or 6 30% plus pullbacks. We never broke the 20-week SMA. This week, it looks like we will. Technically, on the last weekly close, we did. So we just look a bit heavy, a bit tired, and certainly not encouraging for a mega bounce here. Now, if we V-bottom like we have in 2017 many times, then that story changes. But for me, it's definitely a wait and see situation. If we look at the weekly Kijun, this is one thing we haven't broken down from yet, and that's currently at around 35, 36K, something like that. And again, in 2017, we bounced 5 or 6 times at that level. And we haven't tested it yet during this whole run up. So we could still be okay. I don't want to put a bunch of hopium into people's heads here because it certainly looks bad. To me, it feels worse. Sentiment feels worse than it did during any of these 2017 runs. All of this stuff was rather silly and didn't consolidate for 3 months, right? We kind of rode the roller coaster up, had China bans Bitcoin, rolled the roller coaster up, coin ETF denied, rode the roller coaster up, Roger Ver selling a bunch of coins, Segwit 2x, Bcash, all that other stuff happening here was very quick. None of this has been quick as far as the consolidation is concerned. Moving to DeFi stuff though, DeFi stuff still looks okay. DeFi perp doesn't look amazingly bullish, but it doesn't look bearish enough for me to think it needs to be risk off just yet. A lot of these charts on the USD pairs look great still. Aave, Sushi, a lot of these charts on the BTC pairs look great. So if you're trading those, this is definitely a time to get more choosy about what you're trading based on strength, I think, because there's so much weakness on the high caps. So definitely do some digging and look around because there are a lot of decent looking BTC pairs, Ripple and Stellar, as much as it pains me to say that, Cardano, those look fine. If you're a trader and you're agnostic as far as your feelings on those networks fundamentally, then those could be pretty decent trades here. Lastly, I'll just mention Link. Still looks fine. It continues its journey in the pitchfork, and the low side is somewhere around 33. But in general, still above the 200, still above the median line of the pitchfork. Looks fine at this point in time. And lastly, I'll just mention again the Enzyme.finance ETH-BTC fund. You can see performance, AUM, allocations, what I'm doing and when. You can see I have a bunch in Aave at the moment, basically risk off there. Still have a little BTC and ETH because based on transaction activity, we're actually okay. I mean, it's hard to be super bearish ETH when we're pushing all-time highs on transactions and active addresses. BTC's pushing all-time highs and active addresses, that sort of thing. So it's hard to be completely out of it, especially down here when we are down 30%, we're down 25+%, whatever it is. We are tapping important support levels. So it's hard for me to want to continue to de-risk off at this point if you haven't already. I feel like it's almost too late. As terrible as everything looks. So you can see all the trades I make here as well and when and where they go through dexes. Another thing to keep in mind, I can't always, completely, these are basically market orders, so I can't always just market sell everything without massive slippage or issues with ETH network, that sort of thing. And if we look at the DeFi portfolio, this one's a little different, a mixture of TAFA coins that we believe will maintain strength in the DeFi ecosystem based on oracles, dexes, dex aggregators, lending and borrowing, and some miscellaneous stuff like Ren, wrappers, that sort of thing. But again, you can see trades, everything I'm doing and when, what I'm allocated in as far as the coins, and the performance has been extremely volatile. We just started this April 9th. It hit a high of 114, so it was up 14%, and then ever since then it has been a bit of a doom city. But it's early, and I think DeFi still looks fine to me, as much as most of this market looks rather bad. So that's all for this one. Let me know what you're trading, what you're looking at in the comments below. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.